I call to order the Board of Trustees regular meeting for September 19, 2023, and the time is now 6 p.m. Trustee Johnson, would you like to give the invocation?
And about your heads with me. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the chance to meet freely in a country that you created for us. Be with those that watch out for us, that keep us safe, whether it be locally here, whether it be across the seas, and be with those families as you miss them when they're doing their duty. Amen.
Amen. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Brown.
Trustee Evans?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee McKee?
Here.
And Fiscal Officer Varian is excused.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussions?
Yes, I had asked for 2 items and they've been ignored on this. Discussion on solar. I had forwarded the board information on Liberty Township, who took up the solar exclusionary zone and actually passed that resolution. Their trustee, Bill Bogans, was going to come here and speak, but had no reply or input from the board. And then also asked for an update on the federal lawsuit against Etna Township. It's been well over a year, and I've been asking for repeated updates on that, and those have been withheld. Those have to be done in executive session, and I think it's critical that the full board be aware of all items, and especially legal actions against the township. So I'd like to move to add those 2 to the discussion, to the agenda, including a executive session for the update on the federal lawsuit against the township and a discussion on the solar exclusion zone.
So Mr. Bill Brokan is the gentleman from Liberty
You
Town.
need a second.
Oh, can I
I'll
get?
second it.
Okay. Mr., since we're in the discussion, Mr. Bill Bogan from Liberty Township is a gentleman you're up there recording, and he asked you not to post his recorder of the meeting up there. Is that the gentleman you were speaking of? I'm just trying to figure out if I have the right person.
Number 1, it's Bogans,
Okay.
and it's
Fine.
Liberty Township.
I stand to be correct. I know it's Liberty.
And I've had conversations with him, and he actually went to the commissioners and spoke to the commissioners about that.
Did he not ask you to post that? You told him it was too late. You post the video?
A photo of the building, Liberty
I'm
Township,
asking
a
you
sign.
yes or no? That
What has this
video-
got to do
I'm
with
just
the
asking.
township
I'm
business?
just asking.
Ms.
Because
McKee,
you
this
brought
is
it
so
up.
petty.
No, it's not. It's what you do. So,
Well, he said he was
Well-
he wanted to be here, and he still may make it even though it's not on the agenda, but he did want to address the board, and the president ignored it.
well, just so you know, Mr. Evans, each township is different. Okay, it's not a cookie cutter when it comes to solar. Okay, the board spoke on it a few meetings ago, and that's it.
So you need a vote on the motion on whether you're going to,
If they're done discussing, we'll take a vote on the motion to
Only the
amend
motion
the
to amend.
agenda.
Correct.
whether
To amend the agenda.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're just in a discussion.
Are you ready for a roll call?
We're ready for a roll call.
All right, this is a motion to amend the agenda. Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
No.
Trustee McKee?
No.
Now you need a roll call for the agenda as
Roll call
presented.
for the agenda as presented, please.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes. I move to adopt the minutes for the September 25th, 2023 meeting as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, once again, these minutes do not properly reflect the business of the board. They whitewash the actions that were done, attempted, and the discussions made they do not properly reflect the true discussions that are available on the video.
Madam President, may I?
Yes, ma'am, please, Mrs. Hanson.
According to the 12th edition of Robert's Rules of Order, section 48, paragraph 2, in an ordinary society, the minutes should contain mainly the record of what was done at the meeting and not what was said by the members. I'd just like to point that out in terms of Robert's Rules of Order.
And I could repeat Robert's rules on all motions made should be included in the minutes, and they are not. So we shouldn't pick and choose what rules we follow.
Well, I think, you got seconded on your, for discussion for the agenda item now, so that'll be on there.
Are you ready for a roll call?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed 2-1.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move over to the public comments. Please come up to the podium and please state your first, last name, and address for the record.
Steve Perkins, 7352 Palmer Road. I would like to just stand in awe for a moment that we actually looked into Robert's rules for a minute. I've been advocating that for a long time. And, well, the point was brought up that, you know, maybe once again a parliamentarian might be in order. As far as some other things, as far as solar goes, for example, Liberty Township is not Etna Township. It just isn't. The demographics are completely different there. I could easily stand up here and for the same reasons somebody could say they were protecting Etna against solar. I could make the same case that I would protect Etna against avalanches. The reality is that Etna Township has almost nothing to offer solar and large scale in this township. It's just the nature of the makeup of the township as it is now. 20 years ago, may have been a different story. Today, just not the same. Additionally, if you're going to have a discussion about solar, which I have openly asked for, it should be on specific criteria as far as which solar you are talking about, not trying to take the largest version and trying to apply it where it doesn't actually belong. So I am still hoping to have that conversation. I have put out a call for that conversation in which I have heard no response back. So I will leave it at that, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
There were 4 others ahead of me on that list.
Just jump up
That's
there.
it. That's where you'll go by the list. You just pop up whenever you want to, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like stand-up comedy a lot. I can do a lot of funny things up here.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks for the laugh.
Yeah, you're welcome. A little levity and everything seems to make it work a little bit better. Hello, Ms. Hanson, how are you? Hey, you're a lawyer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, have you've heard of the term sophistry? Is that correct? Have you heard that term?
Sophistry?
Sophistry, S-O-P-H-I-S.
Sir, name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doug Parker, 440 Ballman Road. Oh, and before the naysayers on the websites want to come after me, I am a resident, I am a voter, just let you know. And I don't live in Columbus or some other crazy place. I'm here because I'm concerned about our community. Okay, I got 3 minutes, okay? Sophistry is a legal term, and that's why I thought you might be familiar with it. And sophistry has a very specific meaning. And what it means is that somebody is intentionally trying to mislead, or they are so naive, what they think they are saying is true. I watched this happen on City Council one night. Our mayor was talking about a housing development, and he was misleading the public. And I thought, you know what? Either he's trying to mislead the public, or he's so naive, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It was going to hurt the community. So I bring this term up, sophistry, because it's an important thing. Number one, candidates are being appointed to the Jedd committee, board Jedz 1 and boards 1, 4, and 7 tonight. Were these positions advertised? And the reason I come here and asking this, because I was here 2 months ago and I asked the same question. If they'd advertised, there's a lot of great people in here in this community that have accounting degrees, all kinds of stuff. It'd be good to interview that type of. Were these positions advertised?
No, sir.
Okay. Were these candidates even interviewed?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't even know who they are.
Okay, and that's, are there minutes or notes available from the interviews to be reviewed, these minutes for these candidates that were interviewed? I'm going to get to my point here in just a moment, okay? Where were they conducted? Were they conducted here? Are there cameras here that we can look at and see? That's another thing. Where were they conducted? Do these candidates meet any predetermined qualifications? Do we have qualifications for people going to meet on these Jedd boards and Jedd committees that are going to be, they're going to be talking about millions of dollars? So you'd think they'd have to have some minimum qualifications, okay? Hand-picking board members may be expeditious because it makes it easy, but the results will not garner the best, most qualified candidates, okay? With property tax bills just being sent out and they're the highest core recorded values, families are being forced to make cuts in their own spending. It's incumbent that we place the best candidates to help this community with their individual tax burdens. We need to do the best we can here on these committees. On all committees, water boards, et cetera, everything. Do these appointments put people in positions of conflict of interest? Because maybe these people that we're putting in there, do they have some land that they're going to be, you know, is there a conflict of interest what they're going to be doing? Very, very important stuff here. And so let me get back on track here. I lost my place just a little bit. Is they have a conference, okay? This is no longer about petty squabbles and games of the residents. This is about cronyism, placing people in government, and in today's economy, we can't do this. We can't do it. We need to get the best people. We need to interview for people for these, okay? As a trustee leaves a position, and 6 meetings and counting, you know, and it sets a tone for how they will be remembered. You'll be remembered as a trustee. No one remembers people when they arrive, but they have the ability to be known as inclusive and not divisive as they move on the twilight of their tenure. I knew a state representative that was, he was called a lackey by the other state representatives. They called him a lackey. They called this guy a lapdog. But the worst term they called him was called a backbencher. What a backbencher was, he would show up at the
Sir, I'm
state.
sorry, 3 minutes. Thank you. We got to be fair to everybody. 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody would like to have a copy of this, I'll have it available for you, because I have, the next few paragraphs really hit the ball out of the park. I'm sorry, I was long-winded.
No, you wasn't.
Teresa Gashon, 484 Trail West. To add on to his information on the Jedz, applications. Were applications taken for these positions that are going to be appointed for? If so, when were they asked for? Old business that's not on the agenda. Maybe we're going to get updates from Nita, but you know, the final cost of the fireworks. What is the final cost when you include extra deputy time, fire department time, any extra people that were there, the cost for the giveaways, how much was donated from other people, how much was the actual final cost to Etna Township. Anytime we have a big public thing like that, there should be a final accounting on the cost. Update on water and sewer expansion on Wagram Road. We have an update that should be under old, you know, business. That have they met to discuss costs again? When are they going to start, or are they wait for funding to start? Under, you know, I would like it to have the township re-evaluate the exclusionary zones. Businesses cross township borders. Households cross township borders. So yes, we may not have 250 acres together in Etna Township, but what's to say part is going to be in Etna Township, part in another community. So I would like that further discussed and looked at, because Lincoln County is already going to be looking at Liberty Township. It'll save them time and energy if they look at both of us together rather than looking separately. And then the other thing I just want to look at is, are we going to be having an open house, a meet the candidates night before the election? Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you enjoy the fireworks?
I did. I didn't go to the clubhouse. I saw them from Buttonbush, and they were a lot better on that end.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not my new business.
Judy Kaufmeyer, 29 Roman Court. 2 weeks ago, I spoke to this assembly reminding the trustees that the issue of banning large solar in Etna Township was not a dead issue, that other Licking County townships and neighboring counties had taken notice and were engaged in preserving their sacred farmland and the quality of life for their citizens. I had no idea that within the next few days I would be witnessing Liberty Township approving an exclusionary zone resolution for their residents. Good for them. And that resolution is now in the hands of our Licking County commissioners, who must decide how to proceed for the benefit of rural Licking County and perhaps themselves in an upcoming election year. With this new development, I hope our trustees reconsider their previous decision and take a second look. In my closing, I asked whether a tax reassessment was in the future for Licking County. When I checked my mail on September 6th, there it was, a love letter from Michael L. Smith with a property reevaluation and soon-to-be tax increase. If I didn't know better, I might think that I had prescient powers. And just a reminder that the Conservatives of Central Ohio, that meeting is Thursday evening at 6:30 at the Touchdown Club on 30th Street in Heath. A group from Knox County is sharing their experiences about solar companies and the hush agreements they've encountered. Next month, Hartford Township will follow up with more information at the Trout Club in Newark. And although we might not agree on all issues, I hope that we are clear that Ohio does not need to codify murder in its constitution. A no vote is essential in November, and I have yard signs for anyone who might be interested. See me afterwards.
Thank you.
Is there any other?
Gary Burkholder, 254 Trail East. I too would like to see the Etna Township Board reconsider industrial solar and exclusionary zone on that. And that's over 50 megawatts, anything under 50 megawatts. The Etna Township Zoning Commission is already, it's my understanding, have forwarded text to the county prosecutor. I don't know if that's back, and then it would go on to the Licking County Planning Commission before it comes back to Etna Township trustees. I think we need to be proactive, not reactive. The second item is Scannell. Scannell still has not complied with the Licking County subdivision regulations. It's been over a year since that violation, which was sent out August 1st, 2022, and we still have no updates regarding the moving of the wall or the correction of the wall. And that's an Etna Township zoning issue, not a subdivision issue with Licking County planning. My third concern, which I expressed at the last meeting, is the Wagram sewer plant has gone up from 25 million to 84 million now, and the repeated requests at the water and sewer district, there are no details whatsoever on how that's going to be funded. Let me back up a little. The detail we do have is that they're going to take a loan, but when we ask how that loan is going to be repaid, and that loan is going to be applied for through the Ohio Water Development Authority, we never get any details, and we don't get any details from our elected officials here at the township either. This is a major issue on how that's going to be funded. Is it going to be on the backs of the school districts and the taxpayers, or is it going to be on the backs of the developers where it should be? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Davis, 8807 Watkins Road. I would just like to speak about time. I'm looking at the agenda. I do see some timely items. The resolution looks like October 1st to the 7th. That's something that needs to be discussed this meeting. Trick-or-treaters, obviously that needs to be discussed. I'm kind of surprised we haven't set that yet. But the other items on the agenda, I just don't see a lot of reasoning why they're being discussed tonight. There's several other issues that have been on the board's agenda, have not been picked back up. You know, why are these important tonight? You know, the Jedd board's appointments, are they due to be assigned in September? I don't know. I'm hoping the board kind of shares with the public more information on the process to how we got to here, why the people are getting appointed, you know, why this is best for Etna. It's in the interest of time that the residents know tonight or be informed on how they can get the information themselves. Because otherwise, there's residents like myself that are gonna get up here and ask questions that don't get clear answers or don't get answers at all sometimes. And it's just not fair, because it's in the interest of time that we know that our trustees are working behind the scenes on their own projects to bring the information to the board so the board can have a thorough discussion and make accurate and proper decisions. So, thank you very much.
Any other comments tonight?
John Kennard, 10785 Palmer Road. Where do you start? I'd like to have an update on our rusty door condition, how the progress is going on that. I can wait. If you stop my clock while I wait for the answer.
That wasn't put on the agenda.
I have
Mayor?
I have 40 years experience in maintenance, and I'm not sure how old this building is, but with these doors, if they are rusting, I think that should be a manufacturer problem, and might want to look into that. They might replace them free since you're an exposed government building. A good maintenance man can cover a lot of fields of service. And maybe we ought to hire a maintenance man for Etna Township that would work with the crew, the road crew. So if there's not, things going on the road crew, they could do maintenance on the building. We've got enough buildings here that the maintenance man probably could, fill his time pretty good. But it could be a joint position, whether it be the supervisor of the road crew that, is a maintenance man that does mechanical work, service work on the vehicles and things like that. I think the township would get, good benefits from that. Plus, they could keep up with the rusty doors. Solar farm issue. I've been to all these meetings and all this solar show, and the loudest voice on this issue is people that live in town or in the housing development. I don't hear any farmer or any landowner, people that own land, coming up and voicing concerns about solar farms. It's the people that don't have land, don't have the investment, want to control those folks that do have it. So that's my issue with that. This young man that spoke about all the positions and getting the right person for the right job. We might not have got what we paid for on our last election, so this election, we'll see how that works out too. But did we get the right candidates for the positions? We'll ask the citizens. Did we get somebody in here that can handle millions of dollars of our checking account, our money? Maybe not by their past experience. They might not have been the best candidate. So, that's what I'm saying. The candidates are running now, are they standing up and telling the voters the truth about themselves? It didn't take long for McKee to find out who she ran with. It didn't take her very long at all. See how that turned out. So, just, hopefully all you guys will be truthful about what you support.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.
3
Kennard.
minutes.
Your 3 minutes.
No problem. Thank you. Let's put that part up there.
Thank you, sir.
Check your addresses too, make sure everybody lives in a good address. I keep on adding.
Is there any other comments tonight? Alrighty, well, I guess I'll turn the meeting over to our administrator, Ms. Hanson, please.
Madam President, may I go to the podium?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You'll forgive me for having my back to you, but I'll try to scan the room. So I want to start with a reminder that there's only 93 days until Christmas.
Oh, wow. Oh, thanks, Nita.
Consider that.
Nita.
For that.
Nita, pull that down a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better now? Okay. 93 days till Christmas. Did you hear that? I wanted to start with some information related to zoning. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the building that we all refer to as the Ice House. It has been the topic of discussion and the topic of action as well. Most recently, at John Singleton's urging, the fire department inspected the property, and a notice of violation for unsafe structure either has been or will be issued to the property owner, requiring that all doors and windows be secured and remain so. I know our deputies are keeping a close watch on the property, and we will continue to stay on top of the situation and report as events require, or if you would have questions. The Zoning Commission has been working on revising the wording of our zoning resolution for approximately 1 year. The Commission was working on revising the NAICS codes for the general business, local business, and accommodation business districts. Those revisions were set aside while the Commission moved its focus to Article 10 to primarily address solar farm issues. A draft of revised Article 10 has been submitted to the Licking County Planning Commission for its non-binding recommendation. A public hearing before the Zoning Commission on the Article 10 amendments is scheduled for September 26th. After that hearing, the Zoning Commission will make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees to approve the amendments. The trustees will then conduct their own public hearing. Once that process is complete, the Commission will return its attention to Article 9 and the NAICS codes. There was, at some point, several meetings ago, discussions about flooding that was happening over at Lakeland Hills. We had a great meeting at Lakeland Hills that included the county engineer and a member of his staff. Licking County Soil and Water had 2 representatives present. The township was represented, the HOA, and other residents. And a plan was developed that included some work that the township will be doing in right-of-way and drainage work that will be done by the HOA. It is expected that the work will resolve the issues related to the flooding in that area. As to the Mink Road litigation, you may recall that a dispute arose over a use variance and a rezoning application for the property at 9616 Main Street. And before let me allay any concerns that there may be. All of the information that I'm going to relay is part of a public record. So there's nothing that needs to be discussed about the status of this litigation that would require discussion in executive session. Instead, I can give this report that everyone can hear. In April of 2022, Consuela and Leroy Oliver filed a lawsuit against the township after their request for a use variance to construct multifamily dwellings in a GB1 district on Mink Street was denied. The existing land use is residential/general business. They sought to construct 20 apartment units on the site. The surrounding land uses are GB1. The Olivers also filed an application to have the parcel rezoned from GB1 to medium low density residential district, or R2. That application was withdrawn by the Olivers before any determination could be made by the township. For the first time in the complaint that they filed in federal court, the Olivers alleged that the proposed housing was to be affordable housing that they claim would have been occupied by minorities. Nowhere in their zoning documents did they inform the township that the housing sought to be built was intended as affordable. The Olivers claim that the denial was racially motivated by the removal of R3 multifamily residential district, the denial of this particular multifamily housing, and due to the fact that they are people of color. The lawsuit is pending in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Ohio. Through our insurance, the township is being defended by Reminger, a Columbus law firm. On August 21st, 2023, Reminger filed a motion for summary judgment asking the court to grant judgment in the township's favor on all claims asserted by the plaintiffs. Plaintiffs claim that removal of multifamily housing disparately impacts racial minorities. Plaintiffs offer no proof of their stated allegations. Plaintiffs' equal protection claims as relates to the use variance fails since there is no other instance that similarly situated developments in the township were treated any differently than those made by the plaintiffs. The township attorneys argue that the property has over 450 permitted land uses. The property owners have not provided any evidence that the property has declined in value, let alone that it has declined in value based on any township conduct. The denial of the use variance was rationally related to the legitimate interest in limiting urbanization and preserving rural aesthetic. The Oliver's response to the motion is due next month. The township will then have an opportunity to reply in support of its motion. I will stay in contact with our attorneys and report as matters progress, but please understand that even after the motion is fully briefed, it may pend with the court for months.
Yes.
The only discovery that was conducted prior to our attorneys filing a motion asking the court to rule in our favor was written discovery, gathering of documents, and some written questions. There were no depositions taken. I reported at the last meeting that the Jedz boards have jointly committed to reimburse the township up to $650,000 for the resurfacing of Etna Parkway and Heritage Drive. In addition, we have received the second quarter distribution from each of the Jedz's totaling just over $216,000, and Southwest Looking Schools received a total for the second quarter of just over $193,000. I attended the September 11th Grow-Licking County CIC board meeting. Thus far this year, there have been 75 project leads and 51% response from those leads. There have been 7 company visits, 250 jobs have been created in the county. 85% of the leads, I thought these were interesting statistics, 85% of the leads are from manufacturing. 50% of those are EV battery related and another 25% renewable energy. The limitations and considerations in Lincoln County in general are the increasing number of chemical manufacturing project leads for the EV battery semiconductor supply chain leads, high water and wastewater users, and high contiguous acreage requirements. Those things are a challenge to some of the project leads, most of the project leads that have come through Grow-Licking County. The next board meeting for Grow-Licking County is in November. After some delay, due to our design engineer having some personal health issues, the park committee is scheduled to meet on October 5th at 6 p.m. So I'll be reporting the mid-October meeting on that committee meeting. I attended the Licking County TID Trustees meeting on September 13th. As he does every month, Bill Lozier gave a report on all pending projects, including our Pike Street project and the Refugee Road Main Etna Parkway improvements. There was extended discussion about the funds that were made available by the state of Ohio, which are separate and apart from the $20 million that has been designated to the Licking County Commissioners. Here's a funny story. When I was sitting there, I was sitting behind Commissioner Bub, and he had this envelope, and they were talking about this $20 million, and he said, "Here, I'm going to give it to Mrs. Hanson." And he handed me this envelope. It really wasn't $20 million.
Been nice.
No, it wasn't. He didn't give me $20 million. He gave me a flag. Let's see, where did I leave? Okay. There was a discussion at the meeting of the 9 local road projects that are related to Intel, of which a little over $50 million has been funded. Traffic congestion at 310 and 40 is being studied, in partnership with the TID and ODOT. So there'll be more coming out, more information on that as that traffic study continues. The West Licking Development CIC will meet on September 20 to further discuss business of the CIC related to its winding down and reporting obligations. I wanted to give you an important legislative update. I attended a meeting of the Coalition of Large Ohio Urban Townships, which is an Ohio Township Association board. There was discussion of the Ohio Senate's Select Committee on Housing, which was formed late last month. Senator Michelle Reynolds chairs the committee. Ohio Senate President Matt Huffman announced the creation of the new Senate Select Committee on Housing. He said, home ownership is a cornerstone of building a strong financial foundation for Ohio families. This committee will hold hearings to learn what additional steps the state can take to encourage home ownership while removing barriers that entrepreneurs encounter as they work to revitalize our neighborhoods. The committee members include Vice Chair Senator Terry Johnson, Senator Lou Blessing, Senator Andrew Brenner, and Senator Herschel Craig, in addition to Michelle Reynolds, who is the chair. Senator Reynolds is quoted as saying, Ohio has a growing workforce with housing needs. It is essential that we prepare and learn how to foster smart residential development so that many people can participate in the American dream of home ownership. The committee has 2 more hearings in Columbus, then it will hold the rest of the hearings on the road in different parts of the state. The next hearing in Columbus is scheduled for tomorrow at 1 p.m. Now, so why is this important? Why did this sort of raise to the point of discussion? Well, it's because there is growing concern about top-down zoning regulations that are being offered as a solution by this committee. The message that is being driven by development groups is that because each county has their own regulations and there's no uniformity in zoning, it's hard to build homes. It is expected that the Senate committee will push for the counties to take over all zoning for housing development. Failing that, it is expected that the legislature will push for that control top-down to be with the state of Ohio. It's important for us to express our views to this select committee that has been formed that we want to keep our own zoning. We don't want that to be handled by the county, and we certainly don't want it handled by the state of Ohio. Mr. Stepp is traveling for business and is unable to be with us this evening, but he provided a report for the month of July. He did intend to be present for this meeting, but he was called away and expects to be at our next meeting. The district issued bonds for a land purchase for property across Raccoon Creek for future development of a water and/or wastewater treatment facility as demand dictates. The district paid cash for the property and subsequently entered into a loan agreement to reimburse the district. It is anticipated that Jedd funds from development in Jersey Township will cover all debt service for this loan. The new community authority will meet on September 20th. At that meeting, it is expected that the NCA will sign a resolution permitting the repayment to the township of the out-of-pocket expenses incurred by the township in connection with amounts expended by the township to establish the NCA and to provide for its ongoing administration. The township will have to submit a request for payment of the expenses accompanied by a certification that the expenses were incurred. But it would be my expectation that that will be a fairly seamless process, working with our fiscal officer to make that happen. We had our first all-hands meeting on September the 8th. The purpose of the meeting was to enhance productivity of the entire team as we become more cohesive. We had nearly 100% participation. One road crew member was at a family funeral. and one trustee elected not to participate. But we learned a lot from each other. We provoked good discussion about how we can make our team stronger and better. We considered the following traits and why each trait is important for a strong, functioning team to be at its best. The first trait was to believe, accomplish what is collectively believed to be possible. We must be greater than all the adversity and negativity that we face. We need to believe in each other, fill each other with positive energy and encouragement, which makes the team better and each person better. Challenges are opportunities for greatness. In that regard, we have many opportunities for greatness in Etna Township.
Yes.
The second trait was ownership. Take responsibility for your choices, your words, and your actions. Don't blame others. Look at yourself. Don't make excuses. Failure refines, it does not define who we are. The third trait was connection. Connection leads to commitment. Share who we are, our struggles, our challenges, and our successes. Make time to have meaningful conversations and listen to each other. Connections build trust, not pride or ego. The fourth characteristic was love. Leaders love and care about their committed team. Love creates a stronger team which will work harder and sacrifice more. Love leads to trust, which leads to commitment, which leads to sacrifice. Love drives the team to succeed. The fifth trait was inclusion. Each member must feel like they are part of the team. It's a good feeling when you contribute and are recognized and valued for who you are and your contribution. Each member feels more connected to the team and its outcomes if everyone's contribution is valued. The sixth characteristic was consistency. Don't let emotions, fears, or doubts affect our effort. Give your best effort every day. Consistency creates excellence. Consistency in both attitude and habits creates excellence. The last characteristic was hope. Always remain hopeful. Hope is for the future. We brainstormed how to make any individual stick unbreakable and determined that the only way the sticks are unbreakable is when they are bundled together. As a bundle, they are strong and unbreakable. Personally, I'm looking forward to future meetings.
Me too.
I have received a number of inquiries related to the use of the township's Zoom account. Although I've asked several times, Mr. Evans has not provided the login credentials for the account. I also asked the fiscal officer, who had the credentials at one time but cannot now locate them. She told me that she also asked Mr. Evans to give her the credentials. I'm at a loss about what is needed to obtain this information. Do we need a motion from the board requiring Mr. Evans to provide the necessary information within 7 days?
So moved.
Okay, let's address this. Ms. Hanson, you just appeared. Is this a report? Because there's...
But she just made a motion.
I asked a question,
Then I just made a motion.
and Mrs. McKee made a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Jeff seconded, so there's discussion.
Go ahead, Mark.
Discussion?
All passwords have been provided to the fiscal officer. The password that I got for the garage security video that the prior contractor refused to provide was given to the fiscal officer as required.
Mr. Evans,
Ms. Hanson, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Ms. Hanson, I'm speaking. I have the floor.
Point of order.
All passwords I have, my email, Zoom, everything is with the fiscal officer as it should be, okay? All requests for anything Zoom has been provided by public records. Now, Ms. Varian has asked for Ms. McKee's password for the cell phone to provide public records, and she has
Point of
refused.
order. Point of order.
So this is wholly inappropriate.
Mr. Evans.
Mr. Evans, I specifically
Ms. Varian
asked-
has
I
the
specifically
password.
asked Ms. Varian for the password.
Ms. Varian
She
was
said that
provided
she
the
did have
password,
the password,
and she
but
has
could
the
not
password.
locate it, and that she had asked you to give it to me. Have you since given it back to her?
She has the password.
Does she have the password, say, within the last 5 days?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you know?
In that case,
Because I gave it to her.
I suppose I can, get it then from Ms. Varian.
I mean, this is a circus.
Correct.
That's a fact.
This is an absolute circus. Ms. McKee refuses to provide passwords for cell phones, for security, for everything, and I do what's right, giving every password to Ms. Varian.
Wait, roll call, please, Ms. Brown.
Ms. Hanson, that's inappropriate.
Trustee Evans, roll call.
Roll call.
For what? She has the
She made a
password.
motion that you're supposed to provide
I made
it
a
in 7
motion.
days. Roll call. Trustee
Made
Evans.
a motion.
Take 30 seconds.
So, roll call.
Yes, because she
You
has it.
said you did it. You said you already did it. It's been 5 days.
Yes.
You shouldn't have a problem.
This is a circus.
Pass.
You said yes in 5 days.
Can we have the password for Ms. McKee's cell phone?
There's no password. You asked for the,
Ms. McKee said that she's obtaining the records from
They're
T-Mobile
right
and
there
will
right now.
provide them.
And I provided the records from Zoom and my emails and everything.
Provided the calendar invites, that's correct. Okay. The township is provided emergency management services by the Licking County Emergency Management as outlined in its emergency operations plan. As part of the services provided by Licking County EMA, anyone can register for weather alerts, kind of like the Amber Alerts that will come to your phone. And you can register for which type of alerts you want to receive. You just go to lickingcounty.gov/DEPTS departments/EMA and click on Ready LC. Now, I would tell you, I did a Google search for Ready LC to see if it was an easier way to tell you to find it, but it came up with other things, and so if you want to email me, I'm happy to give you the link, or if you go to the Licking County Emergency Management website, and then you'll see in green letters right in the middle, Ready LC. Lieutenant Carson has taken delivery of the 2 Dodge Durangos.
all right.
When Julie gets back, I'll work with her to pay the invoice to Coughlin, which has already been approved. Lieutenant Carson is going to let us know as the other equipment is received, and so hopefully maybe before the end of the year we'll have our new cruisers. Okay, if anyone, I'll close my report as I normally do. If anyone has any issues or concerns, please reach out to me.
I do have questions
My
on some of
email
those.
is nhanson@etnatownship.com. My township cell is 740-814-9365, or you can always call me here at Town Hall, 740-927-7717.
All right, Ms.
Thank
Hanson.
you, Ms. Hanson.
I have a couple questions to follow up. The West Licking CIC, what is the time and place of that? I asked you previously and you refused to provide that.
Mr. Evans,
Do you have that information?
I never refused to provide you any information.
You did.
I've never.
But you have that information?
refused.
These lies and.
I think I said in my report, I have to look it up now. It's gonna meet on September the 20th. The time, I'll have to look it up.
And
I
the
didn't
place,
make
if
a
you
note
could
of
give me
the
the time and place. And then
The place will
regarding,
be here at Town Hall.
okay. Regarding Grow Licking County, you mentioned project leads and that was for the county.
Correct.
What are the metrics for the township? We pay $15,000 a year,
Yeah.
and I see a lot of leads coming through that aren't responded to. We had one that was a pencil manufacturer, a writing implement manufacturer. There were a lot that I think would benefit, but I don't think we're using that. So do you have metrics on that?
Well, I'm not aware of any leads that have been sent to us that have not been followed up on. There was one lead that came to us through Grow Licking County that was going to be down, right, John, on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it had caustic fumes.
Yes.
And so it was too close to the neighborhood that's back behind. So
Okay. Could you just get the metrics for what we've actually done and
in
the number of,
in
no,
Etna
not,
Township?
in Etna Township?
Sure.
Because
For what period of time?
this year.
Okay.
And then regarding the lawsuit, the reason for the updated lawsuit wasn't to acquire publicly available information. I mean, that, we knew all that before, but it was to speak to our attorneys and to see what the case was, what their feeling was, what they're doing, because it's not been a board action. We've never been updated on this, and as a party to this, it should be a board decision. We should all be updated, and that's where the need for the executive session is.
No.
Because it's not just one board member that should be directing this of how it's going to be attacked, because that's what attorneys do. Attorneys just don't do what they want. They're directed by the client in consultation with the insurer and all that, and that hasn't been done for well over a year. And that's why I'm asking for an executive session with our attorneys.
Well, all I can tell you, Mr. Evans, is that I called, they gladly took my call. I assumed they would gladly take your call as well. The issues are purely legal issues. They are not factual questions, which is why it makes it amenable for a motion for summary judgment, which is a motion that asks the court to rule in our favor based on the law when there are no factual issues in dispute. And so there's not been really anything, like, that's why I said about the discovery, the written discovery was done. I mean, there are no strategic issues that would be appropriate for executive session.
Filing the summary motion would be, and everybody files a summary motion saying there's nothing to,
Not always.
most of the time.
No,
So,
not always.
but I think
There has to be no,
it is appropriate.
there
is
has to be
appropriate.
no dispute of fact.
I'll continue to ask for an update.
Thank you, Ms.
Great.
Hanson,
And
for
I
your
would like to
report.
point out, that's the first time I've been asked for an update in the almost 6 months I've been with the
That's right.
township.
That's right. And
I've
thank
asked for
you.
many last
Thank
year.
you.
I'm just saying not since I've been here.
We're moving forward now.
Oh,
and I-
excuse me.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess we'll move over to new business. Resolution 2309-1901 to declare October 1st to October 7th, 2023 as a Stormwater Awareness Week. Is there a second? You got your information there. Should be able to look over it.
Second.
Discussion?
Madam President, may I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So just so you're aware of what this is, Soil and Water asked us to participate along with many of the governmental entities across the state of Ohio to declare the first week of October as Stormwater
Awareness Week.
Stormwater Awareness Week, just to kind of raise it up in everyone's view. So
Yes.
that's how it came about.
Ready for roll call?
Yes, roll call, please.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes,
Passed.
thank you. I move to authorize the expense not to exceed $500 plus parking for myself, Rosalind McKee, Nita Hanson, Don Copley, and John Singleton to attend the Morpc Summit on Sustainability on October 26, 2023. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Madam President, may I?
Yes, please.
Speak? So I would just say that we probably should appropriate a specific amount for the parking as opposed, and I think the $500 would cover the cost for the four of us to attend. And so what I could find out about the parking is that maybe as much as $30, it may be as little as $12. So it might be better to appropriate up to $600. That should give plenty of money to set aside for parking.
So-
It's just a suggestion.
Okay, so Julie our fiscal officer would just kind of put like a blanket of $600, and then whatever we don't use it, eventually go back into the, okay.
Correct.
Is this right in Columbus, right?
Yeah, downtown.
Downtown Columbus.
So if I could, this is an environmental conference that is put on by Morpc. It's going to be downtown at the Hilton near the Convention Center. Morpc expects hundreds of community leaders to explore and share sustainable solutions and ideas. There are 2 plenary sessions, and then there are breakout sessions that will discuss things like pollution, safeguarding water, transportation policy, and the environment, cleaner air, walk and ride, clean energy. There's just lots of topics. And the fee for attendance is $125 per person. Thank you.
It probably be cleaner if you and Jeff agree on your motions to modify your 500 to 600.
I'll modify it to $600.
I think it was March 2nd.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Evans is okay with it going to 600?
To increase it to 600? Yeah.
Thank you.
Ready for roll call, please?
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Pass.
We'll move over to the Jedd 1 board appointment, Jedd C1 board appointments. As we know, there's 3 openings on those Jedd appointments, and the ones that we were looking to put back on the board would be Mr. JOHN CARLISLE, which was there before his term was up. So we're going to I move to appoint Mr. JOHN CARLISLE with experience, lots of experience, to the board, as well as Nicole Washington, which is now the chair of the other. So we're,
Would you just do a discussion on that, then when you do your motion, if you just...
Okay, I just moved to appoint John Carlisle, Nicole Washington, and myself to the Jedd C1 board, and Jim Duffy as an alternate for the term October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
And I just want to make a note that there was a typo on the agenda, it's 2025.
That's correct, 2025.
Correct.
First, I'd like to know why there's no resolution to this. There's a resolution for the Jedds. But also, why are we continuing to not advertise, be transparent, be inclusive of everyone in this township instead of self-appointing, instead of appointing friends, and appointing allies? It's cronyism definition to the T. And we have residents that have spoken up that want to serve. Other ones, on the rare occasion that they have been advertised, have applied. And I was not informed that there were 3 board appointments up. I was not informed any of the people that were going to be considered. There's no information being provided to this board, at least to me. But more importantly, not to the residents. The residents should know what's going on here and have the opportunity to serve. But to put JOHN CARLISLE back on there is wholly inappropriate.
Why?
He was the one that led to the West Licking CIC to defunct with the Secretary of State. Why would you put an individual on the board again that would do that? So this cronyism needs to stop. I move to table this and advertise these appointments, interview people, and select the best from the township to serve.
This is one supporter. To be quite honest, I think we have good people up for this, so that's my opinion of it though. So whatever you think is totally different than me on that, but that's what I think. JOHN CARLISLE knows more about these than you will ever know about them, Mark.
There's no second.
Oh,
There's no second.
we didn't second it?
On the motion to
This motion
table.
to table,
There's a motion
Right.
to
Oh.
Robert's
table,
rules, you need to acknowledge.
which I think is really a motion to postpone.
Correct.
Okay, now you're back to discussion on the original motion.
So
Yeah, you know, I
that the
said
motion
aye.
She
table
said you're
failed
right.
for a second.
I hope the residents of this township are watching.
Oh, I hope so.
Because the decisions are important that are gonna be made this November to continue this or to get the change that was voted for in 2021. We need to end the impropriety. We need proper administration.
John?
And how does one trustee know that you have the best if you haven't talked to the residents? I know many that would fill those shoes.
Have you not gone out and talked to these people, Mark? I mean,
They have no opportunity to apply.
no,
It's
people that
dictated.
The people that people are saying were put on here, so do you not know them? Have you not talked to them?
Oh, he's not gonna talk to John. He hates John.
I mean,
Believe me, I've talked to Mr. Carlisle, and it was quite the conversation for 45 minutes.
You ready for
Roll
roll
call.
call, Madam President?
Roll call.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Pass 2-1.
Okay, I will move over to the Jedd 1, 4, and 7. I move to appoint myself to a Jedd 1 position 4 for the term of August 30th, 2023 to August 20.
Madam President, that's by resolution. The JED boards are done by resolution. JED is by resolution. You have a resolution.
Sorry. There we go. Sorry about that.
That's right. And it's resolution
2. Resolution 2309-1902 to move, to develop the District 1, Position 4 position, and 7, Position 2, to appoint myself, Rosalind McKee, as well as John Kennard, to the Jedd 4, Position 4 for the term of August 30th, 2023 to August 29th, 2027, and John Kennard to Jedd 7 for the term from August 31st, 2023 to August 30th, 2027. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call,
To
discussion.
clarify, Jedd 1, in the 4 position is you,
Correct.
and Jedd 7 position 2 is you, correct? Is that,
No, John Kennard is to Jedd 4, Position 4.
yeah. He's
And then
position
he
4.
goes to Jedd 7,
Who's on Jedd 7?
John Kennard.
Okay, all right, that's what I messed up, I didn't get it clear.
Those are just the ones that are
Okay.
up for
Okay.
re-election. The other ones don't expire.
Discussion.
Oh, yeah. Again, these should be advertised, interviewed, and allow the residents to serve instead of, again, self-appointing, which is, I think, the worst part of this, to think someone has to be on every board, and then also appoint their supporters without any option for anybody else in this community to serve. And then also, has anybody actually read this resolution?
Yes.
It's missing section 4. Section 5 and 6 is a repeat of the text section. It looks like it's not proper.
What is?
It's proper to have a missing section? Section 3 to section 5, and section 5 is verbatim of the further resolved part. Things aren't read on this board, it's just passed and shoved through.
No, it's not true. It's not true, Mr. Evans.
I've got it right here.
I can renumber those sections. That's no problem. Thank you, Mr. Evans, for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
Proper due diligence is not done in this township. Transparency is not done in this township.
That resolution came from the ones from before.
Yeah, so we just,
Mr. Hours office.
right, so these are the ones we used before, that's
I
why.
only changed section 1.
Right, I remember. That's fine. So that comes from our legal.
So I move to table this so proper legal review can be done on the resolution.
I was just saying that it would have been helpful to have comments related to typographical errors in advance of the meeting, so they could have been corrected in advance of the meeting rather than point them out in public.
And that's why I say this should be provided to the board well prior, not the day
They were provided
before.
to you.
Not the day before.
Second, so for the record, I'll make a motion, because he made a motion to table, but you didn't have a second. Do you want a roll call on the motion? No, there was no second.
I think Mr. Evans just made a motion to table the Jedd 147 resolution.
Right, for proper legal review of the resolution because it's not proper.
I was making sure she realized to make it to ask for the
Yeah, that there's no second.
Right.
Are you ready for a roll call?
Roll call.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
And I will remember that resolution
Okay,
prior.
I'll make
to
notes.
actually signing.
Okay.
Well, point of order, how can we pass this resolution?
The renumbering
There was
is
just a number that was
typo,
off, just
Mr.
typo.
Evans.
It
I
happened.
will just renumber.
This came from our legal.
There's no substitute.
Correct.
And it wasn't
No
our legal.
substitute.
Let's try. Trick or treat. Let's go down to trick or treat. I move to set trick or treat for October 31st, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Is there a second?
I'll second. Is this the same time as task force?
Yes, it is.
All right, very good.
Discussion?
Want a roll call?
Roll call.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed 3-0.
I move to authorize myself to sign, Rosa McKee, to sign the Columbia Gas of Ohio Certified Retail Natural Gas Supplier Customer Information Agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, this is going to release the customer information to the aggregator, Treble. If you remember the discussion what I had with their representative, that I thought it was inappropriate that they get these lists and they will put people back into the aggregation program when they've already opted out. And he said that he wasn't concerned about it or some effect of that. I'm concerned that, again, people who have opted out of this are going to be put back in, causing them to have to opt out once again. Is that going to be done or is that not going to be done? Ms. McKee, since you put this forward.
Right, right. They can opt out, just like you could do with your electric bill. It's not-
They've already opted out,
Yeah.
but this would put them back in it. I think once somebody opts out, they should stay opted out.
Yes, that's not,
Doesn't put them back in our late, so we have a new agreement, we have a new agreement, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we have a new agreement, so are those people, they're opted back in per the new agreement? Is that what we're doing, or
At the
we're?
beginning of the new agreement, everyone was opted in. And
Okay.
then everyone who opted out remained opted out. This is a certification related to that agreement that these are the zip codes within the township.
They're getting the list to be able to opt people back in, I believe.
no.
That's why they wanted the list for the electric before that Ms. McKee signed on her own to opt people back in. And that's my
Is that a
concern.
true statement, that they're actually opting them back?
That's what they said. Their rep said that. Their rep said
The
that.
new
I
agreement,
raised
yes.
that concern.
Not-
The new agreement.
No, not with the new agreement. It's for those that previously opted out. They said
It's the old agreement, or the new agreement?
It's just,
whenever they do this.
No.
This is a new agreement.
This is just from Columbia Gas to verify zip codes.
Yeah.
That's all this paper
This is Archer Energy, which is the
Right.
Treble supplier.
But what they want us to sign is to verify zip codes.
It doesn't have any impact. People who are opted out are opted out. They might get a letter that says, hey,
Because it's
you
by the
want to
zip
opt
code.
in, you can opt in anytime you want. Because people can opt in and opt out whenever they want. But this will not automatically opt people back in that have opted out.
This
It's
is,
just a verification.
this is not verification emails. This is the governmental aggregation eligible customer list. So they're seeking a list of customers that are not within the aggregation program They're not just verifying zip codes. Ms. Hanson.
You're asking us to verify the zip codes within the township.
You ready for a roll call, Ms. McKee?
Yes, please, roll call.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Passed 3-0. I'm sorry, 2-1.
The Southgate Company Limited Partnership is dedicating right-of-way Venture Drive to Etna Township. In order to defer the CAUV recoupment charges on the conversation of 1.262 acres of the roadway, the township needs to submit an application to defer the recoupment charges on land converted from agricultural use. I move to authorize myself, Russell McKee, to submit the application to defer recoupment charges on land converted from the agricultural use for 1.262 acres roadway for Venture Drive. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
I was just provided this information, so I do have a couple questions. They are dedicating, giving over to the township that land for that road. Are we required to take that and then maintain it in the future, causing us additional expenses? Or is this something outside some developmental agreement?
This came from the prosecutor's office, Mr. Evans, and this is just for me to convert the agriculture use to sign this charge as land converted,
But that doesn't answer my question. So are we obligated to take it as a part of development? Are we responsible for future road expenses?
The Venture Drive dedication is done through the Commissioner's Office by petition, and that's a separate issue. Bubba, have you been out yet to do the viewing on Venture Drive?
I was out there earlier, but
This is from this request was from the Agriculture District. The Venture Drive dedication, that's something between the commissioners.
But
This was just requested from the lady at the CAUV department so that we don't have to get the back taxes on the CAUV if the road is dedicated to the township.
I understand the deferment of that, but my question is, are we obligated to take this road as a part of the development plan? Is it, because many times, and I've heard it from other officials, they're surprised that the roads within the park are public and it's then at our expense. So is this a road that we need to take on? I mean, if there's been prior agreement, it just doesn't seem like there's any information on that. Just because it comes from a prosecutor doesn't mean anything. Do you not have that information?
Mr. Evans, to answer your specific question, we've not yet been presented with any request for us to take the road. If I knew that you needed this information, I could have had it prepared and been ready for this meeting. But this is sort of a preempt. It's related to Venture Drive, but that process has not yet been started.
And this is just for me to sign off on it and further.
This is just for taxes.
Yeah.
But if the process hasn't been to take the road on and we haven't decided, well, that's what she said.
No, I believe the commissioners have the petition from Southgate to turn over Venture Drive, but I don't know that it's made it all the way through.
It's not,
Bubba
it's just not
said
anything
he
I've seen, so I don't know.
This wasn't part of the discussion. They just asked us to do the CAUV.
Well, that's not what Ms. Hanson said.
I
She
don't
said
think
it
she
wasn't.
said I'm not aware of it. Correct.
That's
Yes.
what I'm trying to
I
say
would
is
have
that
been
it doesn't
prepared
seem.
had I known that you had these questions, but I wasn't.
The lady spoke with me that called from the office. They didn't talk to Nita.
The only information I got is Venture Drive, and that's my concern. Information is not being shared or even
You got exactly
reviewed.
what we got.
Mr. Davis, I think you were given
Well, we were
exactly
just-
what everyone else was
Yeah,
given.
and all they want us to do is to sign off on it. That's, yeah.
You ready for a roll call?
Yes, roll call, please.
Trustee Evans?
No.
Trustee Johnson?
yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed 2-1.
Thank you. I move to designate the Licking County Prosecutor's Office as counsel for the 3 Ohio Court of Claims cases filed by Mark Evans, who cannot participate in this discussion on this motion nor vote on this motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hanson, please.
Madam President, I don't know if you want to provide any information to
You can.
the people.
Yes, since you've collected the information.
Yeah, Mr. Evans has filed 3 actions in the Ohio Court of Claims against the township related to public records requests. I can give anybody more information about any of the individual claims that you might want. But this is a motion to designate the county prosecutor as counsel to the township, so that the township does not incur outside legal fees in order to defend the actions that have been filed by Trustee Evans.
Just for clarification, when they say that he can't vote, do I say his name so he abstains, or do I just skip him?
He can sustain, or he can.
Do I say his name so he abstains for Robert?
He just can't vote, so I
was just
I
asking
think the
process.
proper thing would be
You can't
is
speak.
abstain.
You
Thank
can't
you.
speak, Mr. Evans, you can't speak
He's
on
just
this
giving,
motion.
he's just helping me with the procedure. He'd like me to say his name so he can abstain, correct?
Okay.
Are you ready for roll call?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Evans?
Abstain.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion then passed 2-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll move over to the fiscal officer's report. I move resolution 2309.
03.
1803 to approve the purchase order as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that the first order list?
Yeah, and I would ask again that these be provided in our packets, because Mr. Johnson doesn't have it, and if you want to see,
No, I went through that already. I just wasn't sure.
but they should be provided to us on our desk. I would request that.
It's the first time he's ever asked me, but I'll make sure Julie knows that.
No, I've asked before.
I don't do the stuff for Julie, Mr. Evans. Julie does it. So I will ask Julie to make sure that she gets it to me in time to get it to the packet.
Yeah, she's off.
Not a problem. And then Julie also asked to make sure you guys signed all of that and leave it with me so she can pick it up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready for a roll call?
Ready for a roll call.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed 3-0. I think you're down to the ratification of payments.
I might to go back up to a motion that I have that you need to pull out. I didn't under motion to designate counsel, and I should put it under there, but we'll just go finish out the fiscal, and then I'll go back up, okay? I move to ratify the payments for bills as shown as the payment listing. Is there a second?
I'll
Okay.
second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes. I'm going to go back under the motion to designate counsel. I left out a motion. I have a motion here to authorize the president, myself, of the board of trustees to search for special outside counsel to conduct an investigation into a personal complaint. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Personnel complaint. It's not on there. It's a personnel complaint. It was under the motion to designate counsel for pending disputes. So I'm just reading off a motion.
But it doesn't have to do with.
This is a personnel, no, this is different.
Different, okay.
Yeah, this is a personnel complaint that was filed against.
Do we
us.
have that complaint?
Typically, this goes into executive session so we can discuss
Again,
things.
well, again, Mr. Evans, that's not true. This is coming from our council, and so we are discussing it right now. So first of all, we have to just get a second. Did you second it?
Yes,
Okay,
second.
okay, so we're in the discussion.
I guess.
Okay, under our handbook, there's several, under 14.4.3 complaint procedure. And then there's also 4.5, a complaint procedure, and 4.51, a procedure. And that's a procedure that this was filed under. So we are seeking outside counsel to investigate the complaint from a personnel matter.
So it's internal to us?
It's internal to us.
Okay, that's what I was trying to find out.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
And it would be good to provide the board with information in executive session where things could be discussed.
Is there a,
You already have a motion and a second.
okay, so roll call?
Mark Evans?
Well, I don't know exactly what it's about, so I'll abstain.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Passed.
We'll move on over to announcements from the trustees or comments.
Yeah, I've got a couple here, since I know you'll keep me 3 minutes there. Regarding the exclusionary zones, we keep hearing that the 250 acre thing, there's no single parcel of 250 acre. Numerous developments combine parcels. So 250 is just a red herring. There's plenty of acreage in this township that can accommodate the industrial solar. So I think it does need to be addressed, and to keep in mind that the zoning commission is looking to ban the community solar, which is 50 to 5 totally. So it makes no sense to leave that in place and ban the middle section. We're not talking about solar on your rooftop or anything like that. Regarding the rusty door, getting quotes for that, everybody's pretty busy. You want to make sure that people are going to use proper materials, proper process so it's done right. So working on that. Regarding the special counsel, I'm guessing it's appropriate. It's Halloween, another witch hunt. There's been other special counsels set to investigate. Nothing's come of it. This is just due to the pressure put on this leadership to do what's right, and they're fighting back. It's sad. I could have filed countless complaints, and I did not, to try to limit some of the stuff. But regarding the Court of Claims, yes, I had to file 3 Court of Claims actions, chosen Court of Claims, so there's no damages, fees. It's just forcing to do what's right. If you go to the other common police court, you could be awarded damages. Did not want to go that route. But it's important that we have transparency. We still have the box of missing keys that Mr. Johnson took out. Where are they? They won't say. Numerous things that are going wrong here. And again, if people want to investigate and do all this stuff, I think they're really worried that people are catching on, and hopefully, like I said, it's everything will come to the light of day. And it's people talk about working together, but they just don't want to. They don't want to provide information. I've heard tonight numerous times, well, you should have told us. I didn't get this stuff until the day before, and not even most of the information on there. So it's the games that continue to be played. And to renominate John Carlisle, people had said, quit talking about him before. He's gone. He's not gone. They brought him back, embraced him. It's not right.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I had a great conversation with Sarah Wallace, the board chair for Framework. The report indicates that Framework was a voluntary activity. They would be conducting a training session for all of us on Thursday, September 21st in Newark, Ohio at the downtown library. They will go over the report's footprints. After reading the report, it's like a toolkit or an adventure. It's your choice as a township or a city or a municipality or a village. The framework started out for 161 and Route 16 corridor. Hanover and Utica were not included in the final report, but like Etna Township, the residents were able to participate in the workshops without having to pay for it. We were not included in the $5,000 opportunity, but we all benefit from it. Example, we had several residents in the township, Shelley Marie being one, Mr. Burkover being the other, participated, and myself, and amongst others. This would be included in the comp plan, which we chose to invest in, which is the neighborhood strategies. Cost us a little over $60,000. So why spend the additional $5,000? Mark, did you make a motion to participate in the framework as a trustee? No, you did not. Did you ask if it could be on the agenda? No, you did not. Did your unpaid consultant, Mr. Burkholder, ask you to join the framework since he was on the comp plan? No, he did not. I don't recall ever having a motion to be a part to join the framework. I can say I feel good that I saved the township $5,000 while being able to participate in the framework, LLC. We were focused on our own comp plan for the Etna Township. We invested in that with the neighborhood strategies. How did this affect the township? What did we lose? What did we gain? Our residents participated in the framework for free. I will ask our executive secretary, Laura Brown, to email all residents that are on our mailing blast to send a link to the final report. The reason why I had to stand to talk about this because I was out on social media, Etna community, where Mark goes out there and spews his lies. I mentioned that. I never get out there and I never say anything. But because he went and told the residents that we did not participate in framework was a bald-faced lie. He likes to stir lies. He likes to, that's what he does. He stirs up lies. He's not honest, and and this is why I'm sitting here today speaking on this situation. I tried to defend it, but I was removed off the page because it was called hate speech.
I believe that's 3 minutes.
Because of that, I wanted the residents to know that we did participate. We are part of the framework. I'm sorry? Okay, thank you. Well, we're all fair.
And we're not part of framework. The invitation went to Ms. McKee.
Again, you're still running your mouth.
All right.
Is there a motion to? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I want to end this meeting on a positive note. We had a very good meeting that Ms. Hanson set up for us with employees. Had some food, had some laughs, learned some stuff about each other and different things. Our employees are exceptional in here. They work hard every day. They're here. It's great to work with these people, and I'm glad they are our employees, and I'm glad that they participate in our township as much as they do. Thank you. Make a motion to adjourn. That's it.
I'll second. Roll call.
Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee McKee?
Yes.
Adjourned at 7:00.
I was going to say,